So let me read through it again for you to see. Say, that is exceptional case 3A says when a compound subject is connected with correlatives, the singular is correlatives. The singular verb is used as in the following examples. Okay, so what they are saying, what the rule is saying is that compound subject joined together. The first one is singular, the second one is also singular, but two of them are joined together by with correlative conjunction. Okay, the first one is singular. All the examples from 1 to 10 are all singular, singular, singular. All of them are singular. So when it happens like that, the verb it takes is singular. So that's what he's saying. So now let us go and see what we did. The examples that we treated yesterday. The example one says neither the teacher nor the student is here. Teacher is singular, student is also singular. So neither the teacher nor the student is here. So student is very close. You can either shift it. If you like, you can shift it. You can say neither the student nor the teacher is here, or you say neither the teacher nor the student is here. The fact is that each one of them is singular. So the one also, so yes, each one of them is singular. It means they are the same in number. All right. So there we have so neither the teacher nor the student is here. So under that, you can see the structure. Student is here. Under that, we have the structure. Student is here. So there you underline student. And when you underline student, you point your arrow down on the second line. The third line, you write your S1. So student becomes our S1 there. And then we have is there. So you underline is. When you underline is, student will take is. So when you underline is, you point your arrow down on the second line. The third line, you write your V1. So we have student is here. You can see the structure. Student is here. So it is wrong of you to say neither the teacher nor the student are here. If you say that, it means you have identified student as your S1, but then you have assigned the V2 to it. So the correct form remains neither the teacher nor the student is here. So we go to our example 2. Example 2 says either the boy or the girl plays the piano. Either the boy or the girl plays the piano. So if you look at that structure, you can see girl. You can see the girl plays the piano there. You can see girl plays the piano. So if you like, you can bring boy can come first, girl can come first, or any one of them can come first before the other. So the fact is that boy is singular, girl is also singular. So girl plays the piano. Girl there, you underline girl, and when you underline girl, you point your arrow down on the second line. The third line, you write your S1. And then we have plays the piano. Under that structure, you underline plays. And when you underline plays, you point your arrow down on the second line. The third line, you write your V1, all right? So it is wrong of you to say either the girl or the boy play the piano. If you say that, it means you have identified girl as S1, but then it has taken V2. Okay, so we go to our example 3. Okay, we go to our example 4. 4 here says neither Ezekiel nor John is here. So Ezekiel singular, John is also singular. So so there you can see John is here. So you underline John. When you underline John, you point your arrow down on the second line, and then the third line you write your S1. And then is, John has taken is, so you underline is, and when you underline is, you point your arrow down on the second line, the third line you write your V1. All right. So we have John is here. Therefore, it is wrong of you to say neither Ezekiel nor John are here. If you say that, it means you have given John. It means John is your S1, and then it has taken V2R, which is wrong. Therefore, the correct form becomes neither Ezekiel nor John is here. Right. So go to our example 5. Example 5 says either the cat or the dog has eaten the meat. Either the cat or the dog has eaten the meat. So there we have either the cat. So there we have the dog. Either the cat or the dog has eaten the meat. So there we have dog. Cat is singular, dog is also singular. So you underline dog, and when you underline dog, you point your arrow down on the second line. The third line, you write your S1. So we have has eating the meat. So under that, you underline has, and when you underline has, you point your arrow downward in the second line. The third line, you write your V1. So you have dog has eaten the meat. You have either the cat or the dog has eaten the meat. It is therefore wrong of you to say either the cat or the dog have eaten the meat. If you say that, it means you have identified dog as your S1, but then you have given it a V2, all right? So we go to our example 6. 6 says, neither Mark nor Ben leads the team. Neither Mark nor Ben leads the team. So there you underline, you can see Ben leads the team. So under that, you underline Ben. When you underline Ben, you draw arrow down on the second line. The third line, you write your S1, and then leads, there, third person singular verb. You underline leads. And when you underline leads, you point your arrow down on the second line. The third line, you write your V1, all right? So it is wrong of you to say neither Mark nor Ben lead the team. If you say that, it means you have identified Ben as your S1, but then you have given it a lead, S2. Therefore, the correct form remains neither Mark nor Ben leads the team. So we go to our example 7. Example 7 says, not only Matthew, but also Charles scores a goal. Not only Matthew, but also Charles scores a goal. So there you can see the structure. Charles scores a goal there. It is correct. Very good sentence. So you underline Charles, and when you underline Charles, you point your arrow downward in the second line, the third line, you write your S1, and then we have scores. You underline scores, and when you underline scores, you point your arrow downward in the third line, and in the second line, the third line, you write your V1. So Charles is our S1, and has taken scores, our V1, which is very, very accurate. Okay, it is therefore wrong of you to say not only Matthew, but also Charles score a goal. If you say that, it means you have identified Charles as your S1, but then you have assigned score, which is V2. It is wrong. Therefore, the correct form remains not only Matthew, but also Charles scores a goal. Now go to our example 8. Example 8 says, either the principal or his vice arrives today. Either the principal or his vice arrives today. Either the principal or his vice arrives today. So under that, you can see principal singular, vice singular. So you underline. Okay, so there you can see vice arrives today. So under that structure, you underline vice, and when you underline vice, you point your arrow downward in the second line, the third line, you write your S1. So you have arrives today. Under that, you underline arrives, and when you underline arrives, you point your arrow downward in the second line, the third line, you write your V1. So we have vice as our S1, and it has taken arrives as V1. Therefore, it is wrong of you to say either the principal or his vice arrived today. If you say that, it means you have identified vice as your S1, but then you have assigned arrive, which is V2. It is wrong. Therefore, the correct form remains either the principal or his vice arrives today. So we go to our example 9. Example 9 says, either CNN or BBC casts the news. Either CNN or BBC casts the news. Under that, you have CNN singular or BBC also singular. So you underline your BBC, and down in the second line, you point your arrow downward, and in the third line, you write your S1. And casts. Okay, so that becomes our third person singular verb. You underline it, and when you underline it, you point your arrow down on the second line, the third line, you write your V1. So we have BBC casts the news. Okay, so it is therefore wrong of you to say either CNN or BBC cast the news. If you say that, it means you have identified BBC as your S1, but then you have assigned cast, which is our V2, which is wrong. Therefore, the correct form remains either CNN or BBC casts the news. Okay, so we go to example 10, which is of course the last one. The last one says, neither Al Jazeera nor TVC advertises our products. Neither Al Jazeera nor TVC advertises our product. So you can see Al Jazeera there, singular, TVC also singular. Al Jazeera, TVC, Television Continental, all right? So you can see TVC advertises our product there. So you underline TVC, and when you underline TVC, you point your arrow down on the second line, the third line, you write your V, you write your S1. So we have our advertises. So you underline advertises there. When you underline advertises, you point your arrow downward in the second line, the third line, you write your V1. So TVC is our S1, it has taken advertises of V1, so which is correct. It is therefore wrong of you to say neither Al Jazeera nor TVC advertise our product. If you say that, it means you have given it means Al Jazeera is your S1, but then you have given it advertise, which is a V2, which is wrong. Therefore, the correct form remains neither Al Jazeera nor TVC advertises our product. So that is what we have for the second view. So from there, we now go to look at our review. That is what we look at. Okay.